lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name is Ryan,
And I'm Manny.
and we're going to be talking about one of our favorite books that came out this week. For me, it was Small Week. I love both these characters, and I'm like, I got to check this out too. I mean, Weapons of Vengeance is such a good name for a crossover.
It is.
Yeah. So Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Weapons of Vengeance. This is the alpha issue. So it's going to be, I believe, 5 parts or 4 parts. I feel like it might only be
is 4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's the Alpha, the Ghost Rider issue, the Wolverine issue, and then we're gonna have the Omega issue.
Yeah, I like that.
This.
You know, nice fucking small crossover, not a huge buy-in. Put this on my pull since it was a small week. I was probably just gonna wait for like a trade to come out, but I'm like, you know what, let me check this out. And immediately after reading it, I think a couple pages in, I already knew. I'm like, okay, I'm buying this crossover.
Yeah. And then when you messaged me about how good it was, like again, I was on the fence about it, but like you said, it was a light week, so I'm like, fuck it, let me get it. And like you've never steered me wrong in your recommendations before, so like I jumped on it immediately, and I loved it, dude. I mean, it really feels like an old school Logan and Ghost Rider story.
It's so good. I mean, look, part of it's set in the past, so we'll get into it. So Ben Percy is writing. We got Geoff Shaw on art, Rain Barretto on colors, which I'm not familiar with that name.
I'm not familiar with him either.
Travis Lanham on letter. You jump in and you're in the present. We catch up with Johnny. He's on the run. I've read the first trade of Ben Percy's Ghost Rider. I'm reading it in trade form just for sake of like not spending a ton every month on single issues. But I loved the first volume. That was really good. I'm excited to kind of like maybe get back into it. I may keep the ongoing on my pull at this point because I really like his take on Ghost Rider. But you know, you catch up with him, then you get a motorcycle driving in. I love this, dude. We see this like weird scene, and then you get a flashback to like what the cops would have been seeing as they're looking at this crime scene, and you get this. This is right here. This image right here is when I was like, okay, I'm gonna read this whole arc. I don't want to wait for a trade,
dude. Yeah, I mean, you got Wolverine with his, you know, with his classic cowboy hat on, and you know, like, I mean, if that's not a Wolverine moment, I don't know what the fuck is. You know what I mean? Like, you got the bub in there. You know, it's great.
Well, look at that line. It's happening again, bub. What are we gonna do about it? Boom!
It hooks you.
And then you get it's like watching a movie, and then you get the fucking opening credits. You know, like
it's very cinematic. This was a very cinematic issue.
Geoff Shaw's awesome. I wish he did more stuff.
Same. I mean, I was a fan of he did the Thanos series with Don Cates, right?
Yeah. And then look, part 1, Sympathy for the Devil. I love this. I love the images in the corner. You got Johnny Blaze, you got Wolverine, and the other one. I love this layout, the logo, everything about this book was just so much fun. Especially because it's not steeped down with so much of, actually most Marvel books I don't feel like are steeped down with a bunch of crossovers lately. I feel like each kind of book stands on its own, except the X-Men stuff. But I love that this Wolverine isn't like, not even referencing Krakoa. It's completely separate. You know, it's just purely about Wolverine. And
you really don't need to be reading the X-Men comics or the Ghost Rider comics, I think, to enjoy this at all. Because I'm not reading Ghost Rider like you are, and like, I mean, I find X-Men so impenetrable right now with so many titles that I haven't been reading it either. But I felt none of that from this book. I really felt like this felt like a lost, like, you know, like 90s Wolverine Ghost Rider crossover that I never saw.
I know it feels like what Marvel's been doing, where they're doing like these miniseries set in the past, so like old versions, but done better. I hate to say it that way, but it is, because it is also connected to the present, you know. So I would like to see more stuff like this, you know, where maybe it is a callback to a bygone era or like an old like storyline, but then you're also connecting it to modern, because I think then it feels like it has, I hate to say this, but people say this all the time, like, well, does it matter?
And it's comic, so you can argue whether anything matters.
I know. I hate to say it, but like, that's kind of, you know, where I'm at. Like, well, okay, is there any like consequence to this story, or is it just you telling an old story in the past that's like not even gonna like really change anything about the character? Like, but this one does. First of all, love seeing Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters again. Like we haven't seen that in like such a long time. So you see this era, and then you pan out like this woman's taking this kid over there. So you're like, oh, okay, this kid's a mutant, obviously. And you see the shadow of Wolverine jumping out the window, and then the claws get extended. We haven't seen the yellow blue costume in a while either. So
No, it was great, and there's so many great scenes too. With like you said, this is such a great visit to the Xavier School, which, like you said, has been gone for a while. We haven't really seen it, and to me, it's a very comforting place to see. I mean,
I love this. She's like, please don't hurt us. My friend told us to come. Stevie Hunter. He's like, I don't know anything about any Stevies. And like the professor, is he here? Stevie said he might be able to. And then boom, you get Professor X. Still in the wheelchair too. And then
in the classic green shirt,
yep. Wolverine retracts the claws. Obviously, Professor X is going to apologize, asks the woman to come in, and then I love this too. We get these like photos of the X-Men on the wall
in the background. I love that too.
Like, you don't have
and
to
what you said about I love like how they're capturing like that old school Xavier Logan relationship where like Xavier was kind of always apologizing for Logan being kind of rude sometimes. Logan's a very no bullshit kind of guy, so.
Yeah.
You have to excuse my friend. Like how many times has Xavier said that about Logan? And it's great that they have that moment here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Percy is really clearly writing this from a labor of love. I think
Percy writes these loner characters perfectly.
Again, good point, man. Because Logan and Ghost Rider are two great characters to pair because they're loners, and then they're working together. It makes them such an interesting team.
Like I would love to see him. I know this isn't, I'm not saying he is a loner character, but I would love to see Ben Percy on Daredevil.
Wow, that's a good call, man. Yeah.
Because I think it's like, it's not the first name maybe some people would think of for putting him on Daredevil, but I would love to see his take on Daredevil. Very, because Daredevil's a very introspective character, can be very solemn at times. Just throwing that out there, putting that out there into the ether. But I love this too, because like now she's explaining like what this kid is, and like she's a social worker assigned to his case, and everybody keeps turning him away. And
people are scared of him. Like they think the kid is weird, and like they don't. Like there's just something off-putting because they're still trying to determine exactly what the kid is. Like you said, like they're bringing him here because she's assuming he's a mutant with all the sort of strange things that have been going on. So I love the moment with Nightcrawler coming in for the fucking ice cream. Great. I mean, that's classic. That's a classic
Shadow
Nightcrawler
Cat
moment.
too. We got Shadow Cat just popping it through the wall.
Those little moments really added so much to this book. Like that's what made me realize that like this is coming from a place of love and not like just like you said a crossover crash cab. Let's get these two characters together. No, it seems organic, and the setup of the story makes sense why these characters would be coming together too.
Now we have Professor X. He's gonna obviously use his powers to kind of read his mind, and you see this like chaos right here. Like this is how it's signifying chaos. We're seeing his powers being displayed that way, but then just fire and brimstone is what we see on the right. And Professor X is like, I know you came here for help, but I can't. Like he's not a mutant. And the woman asks, like, well, what is he? Professor X has no idea. Like I'm gonna send you to somebody else that knows like the supernatural. And the woman gets mad. She's like, everybody just keeps sending us to different places. And I think that, I'm hoping we're gonna find out like maybe who else she visited. Or see.
I was thinking Stephen Strange maybe, but like
I was thinking that's where he's sending her.
Yeah.
That was my initial reaction. But like if she's seen other people before, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see like kind of if that plays out. I don't think it's super important, but like you can see the kid too. Like he's like nobody wants me, and it's like
he seems like it's so sad story.
And then fucking Wolverine, good riddance. Kid stunk like a steaming pile of sulfur.
Classic Logan,
which kind of gives you a hint of what this kid is when he says he smells like sulfur, right?
Yeah.
Then we go back to young Johnny Blaze, when he's still like the motorcycle riding Daredevil, and we get Roxanne, and I just love this, dude. Like this is old school Ghost Rider. This is what I love. And
dude, there's a page coming up that's great too that I love. That one. You know,
Where
like
it
with like
looks
the
like an old school comic book art. Yeah.
yeah, dude, I love that this page. You know, and
Mephisto
just
looks fucking menacing.
the panel on the top view. You know, yeah, Mephisto, like such great moments, and like I mean, you got the pretty much the origin of Ghost Rider told here in like what 6 panels, not a single word. You know, like I mean, you get it. Percy is giving you everything you need in this issue to enjoy it,
And then,
and
you
the art
know,
is great, man. I
oh,
love
the art's phenomenal.
the coloring is great. It's atmospheric. You know, like it goes from desaturated to bright whenever it needs to have like that impact that you want. You know, colors to have. You know, like doing more and more videos with you, I've really started to focus on like the way colors, because I know you're a big, you know, you talk a lot about coloring, and it's made me realize that sublimity, like at some sublime level, like you know, color is just very important, and in this issue, you can really see that too, man.
Dude,
Like,
look, you can have a book that is written well, illustrated well, and if it's not colored well, it takes away from the book. And same thing with lettering. I think if a book
yeah,
is poorly lettered, like that also can distract you from otherwise greatness, you know. So that's why I love to call it out. I mean, the lettering on here too is really well done as well. But I love this too as we get back, and like she's talking to the dude at the
the
orphanage.
orphanage.
You see the blood drip onto her shirt, and then it's just soaked on the ceiling. Oh my god, dude! And then you
I
get
love this, dude. As a horror fan, this is like Clive Barker Hellraiser like kind of
and
stuff, you know,
this
like
and this calls back to the present day when Johnny Blaze. Remember, look at this, right? Like
yeah.
so,
Yeah, it looks like these bodies have all been fused into some kind of weird sculpture, you know, and like
it's
it's
creepy
really
as fuck.
grotesque, man. And then you know you don't want to overlook the fact that these are children.
Yeah,
You know, like that
that's what's
makes it just
horrifying.
some. Yeah, it is. It's a horrifying image, man. And like for a Marvel book, that's pretty boundary pushing, I think, as far as like fucked up imagery goes. You know, like they really you know went pretty far in that panel. I mean, you know, like look at even some of the faces that he draws, like the agony in them. You know, like this was clearly a very painful process, and these kids were probably alive when all this kind of like fusion and body contortion was going on.
Yeah.
And like you know, like just like the chaos, like you can really feel like how intense and horrifying this moment must have been. And it's all done with that one panel, man.
Then we go back to the mansion. I love this, the dialogue between them, getting to see the old school X-Men just like chilling together, something we don't see
Wolverine flipping
anymore.
over the chessboard because he got pissed because Colossus beat him at chess.
Yeah. And then the lights go out, dude, and it turns into a straight fucking horror movie.
Yeah, this is a good point. I do want to point out this is a horror story. I would consider this a horror comic. You know,
I love this, dude, because you see like Kitty's fucking like taken aback by this creepy looking kid,
and
right?
then that's the coloring. Look at the coloring on her face with him. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Like
So you
again,
see that her face gets lit up by something that she's looking at, and then Wolverine, as he's coming out, you see the blood across the floor. He drops the candles.
dude,
The
and Colossus like shoved into that wall. I love that one panel. Really stuck out to me because I was
claws
like,
extended, though. That's what I love about this is that all you see in this panel, this is great, is the candles on the floor and the sound effect of his claws
Nick,
being.
very cinematic, man. I mean,
Yeah.
the boom, and then we got this great image, dude.
Oh my god, it reminds me of Demon Bear.
It does, man. It really
I don't think
does.
it is. I don't think it is, but it definitely looks like Demon Bear. And then Wolverine just running at him and claws going. And then we jump back to Johnny and like things get brighter, right? Like you had mentioned
Yeah,
with the coloring. And Johnny Blaze is coming back to his consciousness because he saw a vision of this demon while he was riding, which made him fucking crash. And then this. I love this, man. I love the oncoming of the Ghost Rider. Johnny's not here anymore. And then just like the smoke coming out of his mouth, and then you don't even
it
get to see the
captures like the pain.
transformation.
Like I've always felt that like the transformation into Ghost Rider must be extremely painful for the individual.
Then we jump back. Wolverine's clawing at this fucking kid demon, whatever you want to call him, and that's why I said like it he smelled the sulfur, so he smelled the demonic entity in this kid. Just fucking nuts, dude. And then
And you know, Wolverine is pretty much fucking fighting a child right now. You know, like
yeah,
it's
but it's weird too because like he's like you see the kid with the flame here, right? But the boy is not
Yeah.
really with him, and then the demon's carrying him out. So it's kind of odd because like, is he a demon or is he just controlling the demon? Like, is it a
Or is the demon
manifestation?
like yes, like are they separate entities? Are they the same? We don't know yet, and it's kind of a cool way to set it up because it gives you a lot of time to think about what's going on. You know, like
Yeah.
it's clever. There's a lot of questions raised in this, but it's not for like just throwing crap at the page to make sure it sticks. Like this seems like a very well thought out story, and the mystery builds very effectively. At least for me, I found it very engaging.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then Professor X sends Logan on his way. He hops on the bike. We get the panel with fucking Johnny on his bike, and they're
I
about to
love
be on
seeing the
head on.
old Ghost Rider uniform too, man.
Oh yeah, dude. They're on a collision course, bro. And then
Yeah,
Johnny
dude.
comes up and sees this other fucking, I don't even know what you call this fucking horror show right here. That's
Yeah,
what I'll refer to it as. And then we get the meeting between the two. I love this because like Wolverine just like with the claws against the ground as he's riding
yeah,
up on Ghost Rider. And even him saying like, I'll gladly kill you, but you're not the evil I seek. So like, because
yeah,
Wolverine does have an evil to him, right? Like he could get
yeah,
the
yeah.
penance there. He could
He
be like,
could
and
totally,
then
man.
the woman's like looking for him. And like it's so creepy, dude, because he's just standing in the middle of the road and like he's like pleading for help from her. And then we get, again, get back to the present day. Logan saying we got to finish what we started. And a
I love like
simple hell
hell
yeah.
yeah, dude. Yeah. And then I love this page too. I mean, like you got two of Marvel's like classic motorcycle riding heroes, and it's like they're off to the road. Like it almost makes me want to see a Ghost Rider Wolverine like hard traveling heroes type like road
I was just
road
thinking that.
comic.
Yeah, it's like they're going on like a road trip.
Like let Johnny and Logan go ride across America on their bikes and like fight demonic and mutant things
Yeah.
along the way. I'd be on board for that, Marvel, if you're
I
watching
would be
this.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a great issue. And like you said, there's only three more parts.
It's a great little storyline that they're doing, and like short little crossover. It's kind of stuff we need to see more. I mean, look, both you and I bought this comic without it being really on our pull list before, so they clearly did something right. And and I'm not one to just grab a book because it's just two characters I like, and this hooked me, man. I was very surprised.
I agree, dude. It's an awesome book. Definitely excited for the next few chapters of this. Can't wait to see how this story wraps up. Go pick it up.
Yes,
I mean, if you're a fan of either of these characters, like we both said, like we haven't necessarily been reading the ongoings, but this is you can jump into this without having to know anything going on in the current storyline. So go pick this up if you like Ghost Rider. Go pick it up if you like Wolverine. Make sure you follow us on social media. Our links are down below. Hit the subscribe button so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, we're out.
we'll catch you next time, guys.